The Ferrari F40 has a lot of Kevlar and carbon fibre parts to it. Now, there are multiple ways you can replicate carbon fibre and Kevlar in scale. Probably the most obvious one and popular one is the use of aftermarket decals. But there is an alternative which I'd like to demonstrate, and you get somewhat reasonable results, as you can pick up there on camera, for both the Kevlar and the carbon fibre. So I'll just demonstrate how I go about replicating this, and it really comes down to a few simple things. Some fine mesh or veil-like material that you can pick up at most craft stores or link craft and places like that. This kind of stuff that veils are made out of. Sometimes you find this in confetti. Have a look around and experiment with different material until you find one that you're comfortable and happy with. I think I picked this up for about $2 a square meter as part of their cut-offs. Probably wasn't good to do anything like a curtain, so you can pick up a bargain, and 2 meters of this stuff will last you literally a lifetime. So that's sort of the pattern that I'm using. Okay, so the way to go about this, and I recommend you practice on some scrap pieces first. The thing you gotta most be careful about is what glue, what spray adhesive you use. Now I've used this Lincraft rebadged can for quite some time, and I know that it won't leave a sticky residue if I spray it on lightly in mist coats. So that's what you're looking for. So shop around, have a look for something that works, and try it on a few scrap pieces. So what I'll do is I'll give the mesh a light mist coat of glue. What you're looking for at this stage is just making sure that you haven't flooded the mesh in any way, and causing some of the fine mesh particles there to be blocked up. So the way to do this then is to give the base color. So if you're going for a Kevlar, mix a yellow, or if you're going for a carbon fibre, I use RLM 75, which is a German grey. So lay that over your part. Now that the base coat is dry, the next step is to just apply mesh. Now you can cut this to size to make it a little easier to apply and manipulate. I'm just going to concentrate on the area which I know will be exposed once I put the door panels on, which is basically this area here. So what I'm doing is just gently pressing down and letting that spray adhesive just grab a hold of the mesh. You don't need it to stick on, you want this to be temporary. The point of this is just to ensure that the mesh doesn't move while you're spraying, just to make sure that you don't get any crooked lines. And while you're there, just complete the rest of the area you want to work in. The real advantage of this comes into play when you're going around curves like the back of that seat that I showed earlier. Now you could imagine trying to keep a veil or a fine mesh steady and without moving quite difficult. That's where the advantage of this method really comes into play. Okay, now the next shot is just to run some black through. When laying your black, it's important that you regulate your brush just so that you can get fine control. What you don't want to do is have an accident where you actually pull too much paint onto the piece. That will result in the paint flowing underneath that mesh and ruining the effect. So regulate your brush and just gently apply that to the mesh. The good thing about using a white mesh is that you know when it's done because the mesh will be completely black. Okay, and now for the big reveal. Just gently pull that back. And there you have it. Now the good thing about this technique is that if you do make a mistake somewhere, if you get a bit of pooling or you find that the mesh was torn and you didn't quite pick it up, the good thing about it is that you can just respray that in your base color and just have another go at it. And you can actually reuse the actual mesh itself. I've got so much that I don't really bother, but you could if you wanted to. There. Now, including drying time for acrylics, that took about 25 minutes, 30 minutes. So, personally I think that that's a lot faster than any decal job. And, the effects, although not 100% accurate, definitely past the 3-4 foot rule. Well, I hope you can use that. See you next time.